Our world is rife with mysteries and enigmas. Through the years, a myriad of wondrous events have occurred and thousands of amazing discoveries have been made. We can never be quite sure what lies beyond the horizon. Between archaeological wonders and the rapid development of technology, there is an unbound potential for our future. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at recent discoveries. Drone finds a lost tomb with 72 ancient skeletons. On Canary Island, a drone has found a lost tomb with about 72 ancient skeletons. The tomb contains the remains of ancient people thought to be from a probably lost pre-Hispanic civilization. It was discovered by a group of amateur archaeologists around the holiday island of Gran Canaria. These mummified remains belonged to natives of the Guanche society. The discovery was made possible through the use of a drone. The drone was deployed by a team of researchers who are members of the amateur archaeology group called El Legado. This group was formed by Ayoze Himar Gonzalez, Joné Garcia, and Jesus Diaz. This team of archaeologists deployed their drones on a research mission, which somehow and unexpectedly led to the discovery of the cave through the drones. Gonzalez, one of the members of the team, described how they were able to make this discovery. He said, "We were flying a drone and we took some pictures of the cave. It is in a very difficult place to access, and you need to climb a cliff to reach the site. People thought the photos were fake because of all the bones there." This amazing discovery at the island of Gran Canaria consisted of 62 adult skeletons and 10 newborns. They were discovered in a ravine on the island, which is part of the Spanish Canary Islands. Archaeologists confirmed this discovery and have tried to link them to the Guanche civilization. They have also tried to date these ancient remains and were able to date them back to between 800 and 1000 AD. The ancient people of Guanche were believed to be the original inhabitants of the Canary Islands, and it is believed that the people of Guanche migrated from North Africa. Many historians believe that the people of Guanche were accepted into the Spanish society, who later integrated them both ethnically and culturally into the Spanish settlement. This was after they settled and colonized small islands. One of the archaeologists supervising the discovery, Veronica Alberto, told local media the following: "There are many burial caves in Gran Canaria, but not many like this one. The discovery of the newborn remains is important as they were not included in previous findings until very recently. We now know they can be found in these types of cave burials." Archaeologists subsequently went down to the burial site and discovered traditional burial shrouds that were made partly from some vegetable fibers and some animal skins. Alberto further added that we can confirm that all the pre-Hispanic people in the Canary Islands were prepared the same way for the burial ceremony. Archaeologists dug as far as 75 feet below sea level to reach the tomb, only to discover more than 5 dozen skeletal remains that have now been analysed and studied. The cave was discovered back in June 2019, but they did not make any report about it, because they feared if they reported it, the facility might be vandalised. But 1 year after the discovery, they announced to the general public that they had begun work on the site. Gonzalez further explained that the cave should be closed off and preserved with the bones left there to respect the site. We decided to report it because we want the local authorities to preserve and respect it. Mary Aquiri found buried in her backyard. When 36-year-old Mary Aquiri bought a house with her husband Albert in 1960, she did not know it would also become her final resting place. She had 2 children and happily married when she moved into the house on 5445 Black Street in East Liberty, Pennsylvania. Or so everyone thought. Albert Aquiri was described by neighbours as a sweet, funny, laid-back gentleman. He and Mary and their 2 teenage children lived in that house on Black Street for 4 short years before Mary went missing. Albert told their children that their mother had packed her things and left them, presumably for another man. This was also the story that friends and family friends were told about Mary's disappearance, though no one believed that Mary was the type of person to abandon her kids seemingly overnight, without showing any signs that she was about to do so. With Mary gone, they had little else to go on. Teresa Rocco, head of the Police Bureau's Missing Persons Unit, as well as the godmother to one of Mary's children, knew there had to be more to the case. She waited for Albert to file a police report. He would never file a missing persons report, though. Mary's sister and mother did try to file, but according to their accounts, they were not taken seriously. This is disputed by the Pittsburgh police, who claim they never received a missing persons report in this case and that Mary was assumed to have left of her own free will. The following year, Albert Aquiri passed away in a motor vehicle accident. It was later presumed that he was travelling at such a high rate of speed that he was intentionally taking his own life. For some, this solidified their suspicions of foul play in the Mary Aquiri disappearance. There were other signs noted from the family that cast more doubt onto Albert's story, though. Before taking his own life and shortly after Mary went missing, Albert claimed that a large freezer had been stolen out of their garage in broad daylight. A family member reflected that it was the perfect size to store Mary's body to prevent it from decomposing. Shortly after that, Albert installed a cement slab in their backyard as a kind of patio. Mary's great-nephew, Charles Spurner, was only 5 years old when Mary disappeared, but he remembers vividly that his mother thought that Albert had hurt Mary and put her under the cement patio. That was where Mary was found during a construction site dig in 2018. Of course, her remains were in such an advanced state of decomposition that no determination was made as to how she passed away. The medical examiner's office ruled her manner of loss of life as undetermined. Since he passed away in 1965, Albert has been suspected of taking the life of his late wife. He cannot be charged with the evidence available now, and so far the case remains open. Penguin poop is so pink it can be seen from space. Everyone's favourite animal at the zoo, the beloved flightless bird, the penguin, could be ditching its classic monochrome look. Mixing up the characteristic black and white feathered colour scheme is the news that their poop is pink, so much so that it can be seen from space. There are 4 penguin species in Antarctica that live and breed on the continent: Adelie, Chinstrap, Emperor, and Gentoo. Though the Adelie penguins seem to have one fairly distinct trait: their poo. Adelie penguins love to feed on krill and small crustaceans, which are pink. With so much of the Adelie diet being krill, their excrement, or technically speaking their guano, turns a pink-red colour. This rather vibrant hue then stains the ground, the penguins themselves, and a great deal of any surroundings. Though their stain-worthy droppings have proved relatively useful scientifically speaking. The Adelie guano can be seen from space, and the distinctive pink tone is picked up and seen on satellite imagery where individual penguins are not. Many scientists are aiming to count the Adelie and gain a rough understanding of their population, though with some rather remote homelands, this can be a difficult task to say the least. Satellite imagery is unable to show us each individual penguin, but where they have been, there is a telltale pink stain on the landscape. Heather Lynch, an ecology professor at Stony Brook University, spoke at the American Geophysical Union conference, in which she explained that the area the guano stains cover allows them to estimate how many Adelie penguins were in that specific area. This new technique has allowed teams like Lynch's to uncover entire colonies of Adelie penguins. One group, in Danger Islands, was found reaching 1.5 million penguins that had not been counted towards the Adelie population yet. Now, researchers are retracing Adelie history, aiming to track fluctuations in their population throughout time in the Antarctic. It is hoped that this monitoring of the Adelie penguins will prove useful in assessing the condition of the Antarctic environment overall. The Adelie specifically breed on exposed, rocky land, but hang out on the icy surfaces to live. This means the behaviour and movement of Adelie can inform us of both terrains and warn us and other species if any changes to either one of these environments becomes hazardous. Since 1990, the Adelie penguin population appears to have decreased, though researchers are not entirely sure why. They do know, however, that it is important to protect this species. One aspect could be the change in diet. Over time, the colour of the guano has varied slightly. A colour analysis on the guano can reveal the health of the species overall, particularly how they are responding to climate change and the looming habitat loss. As strange as it sounds, the colourful poop of these flightless birds is helping protect the species, and more Adelie penguins are being discovered with each satellite image that is being examined. The secret to miraculous preservation of a Dead Sea Scroll could be salt coating. The Dead Sea Scrolls are inarguably valuable artifacts, making their preservation and good condition following their discovery vital. Recent findings may have some more answers and more suggestions as to how some of these manuscripts are in such pristine condition, and why some appear to be worsening following our human intervention. One fragment of one of the most famous manuscripts appeared, upon inspection, to be covered in a strange combination of sulfate salts. Whilst some think this may be the secret to the good condition of some of the Dead Sea Scroll manuscripts, others have suggested that the sulfate coating could make the manuscripts more sensitive when exposed to subtle adjustments to their environment, such as humidity. One research paper in Science's Advances suggested an approach in which a greater emphasis is placed on understanding the construction and chemistry surrounding ancient techniques to craft parchment. They also highlight that this may prevent forgeries from being considered with sincerity. The current understanding of the sulfate salt coating is that the Essenes, aiming to protect the scrolls from destruction, hid them in a series of caves. From the caves, natural limestone and similar conditions aided their preservation, allowing natural preventative chemical reactions to take place at a slow rate. Admir Masick, one co-author of the research paper who works at MIT, has suggested that the Dead Sea Scrolls have begun to decline in their quality of preservation following the attempts to soften the scrolls in order to open them, as well as the shift in environment into museums. Masick highlights the necessity of the Dead Sea Scrolls as he states, "We are talking about ancient 2,000-year-old documents that cover a fantastic period where Christianity was born. That means they are extremely valuable from a historical perspective. The most well-preserved is the Temple Scroll. This outlines some biblical context, such as plans for a Jewish temple, though the focus of the Temple Scroll is often its construction. Why is it so well maintained? Parchment was usually made from animal skin, with the hair and fat removed, and then scraped clean and stretched to dry. The Temple Scroll, however, seems to be written on the reverse of the parchment, on the flesh side, and was possibly split into 2 layers whilst writing. Even more spectacularly, the Temple Scroll remains untouched by modern, man-made preservations, meaning there is no damage to the original scroll. Overall, there is a broad range of factors that may feed into the successful preservation of such artifacts, though the natural contributors appear to be the most significant. The Dead Sea Scrolls present a paramount research opportunity, from archaeology to religion to linguistics to history. These scrolls tell us about the past and give us a chance to learn about future preservation and technological advancements too. The Chiksalub crater. The Chiksalub crater was an impact crater that was buried underneath the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. It has a center that is located offshore close to the surrounding communities of Chiksalub Puerto and Chiksalub Pueblo, after which the crater is named. This crater was formed after a large asteroid close to 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles in diameter struck the Earth. Coincidentally, the date of impact somehow coincides precisely with the Cretaceous-Paleogene boundary, commonly known as the KPG boundary. This is believed to have occurred more than 66 million years ago. It is generally believed in the scientific community that worldwide climate disruption from the event was the cause of the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event, which led to the mass extinction of 75% of plant and animal species on Earth, including all non-avian dinosaurs. The size of the crater is estimated to be around 150 kilometers in diameter, with the crater also being about 20 kilometers in depth. The crater is considered the second largest confirmed impact structure on Earth, and the only one whose peak ring is intact and directly accessible for scientific research. The crater was discovered by Antonio Camacho and Glenn Penfield, who were both geophysicists. They were in search of petroleum around the Yucatan Peninsula in the late 1970s. Penfield was initially unable to obtain evidence that the geological feature was a crater and gave up his search. Later, through contact with Alan Hildebrand in 1990, Penfield obtained samples that suggested it was an impact feature. Evidence for the impact origin of the crater includes shocked quartz, a gravity anomaly, and tektites in surrounding areas. In the year 2016, there was a scientific project that involved drilling deep into the peak ring of the impact crater, hundreds of meters below the current seafloor, to obtain rock core samples from the impact itself. The discoveries from this project were widely seen as confirming current theories related to both the crater impact and its effects. There were some studies in the year 2020 which concluded that the Chiksalub crater was formed by an inclined 45 to 60 degree angle to horizontal impact from the northeast. It is believed that the impact of the crater striking the Earth would have caused a mega tsunami that would be over 100 meters, that would have reached what is now Texas and Florida. Researchers working on the crater believed that the impact of the crater collision on the Earth triggered a seismic event equivalent to a magnitude 12 earthquake at the impact site, generating shockwaves. The shockwaves generated probably contributed to the Deccan Traps flood basalt eruption, which was estimated to have occurred around the same time. There was also consequent emission of dust and particles that covered the entire surface of the Earth for many years. This affected plants as they could not get sunlight for photosynthesis. This probably helped to shape the Earth's climate. It has also been officially recognized by the International Cultural Heritage Body. But what do you make of these discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.